Today we're talking about heroes that we want to see on the big screen that don't already have a movie. And we saw him on the big screen before, but we didn't see enough of him. Nightcrawler, one of the X-Men, and he is just the coolest. First of all, X-Men 2. Have you seen X-Men 2? There was this one scene in it that stole the movie. It was the very first scene. Is Nightcrawler, and he's just kicking ass. He's teleporting around through the White House. Ha! Hoo! Wah! Trying to kill the president. Yeah, he's like he's being mind controlled or whatever. But he's in the White House, he's just murdering fools, and he's just teleporting all around, dropping them. Easily the coolest part of the movie is playing the DS Eater. It's just like super epic.
Maybe it's kind of an obvious answer, but I think Deadpool needs his own movie, and there's a couple reasons for this. First of all, there's already a script out there for it. It's by the guys who did Zombieland, which was another amazing movie. So you know it's gonna be good, and it kind of made fun of the previous movie. Don't go look up the leaked script, because it might actually get made someday, and you don't want to spoil it for yourself. But they kind of hold up an action figure of the guy with no mouth, the kind of completely screwed up Deadpool version, and he's like, this is f***ing terrible.
I don't know if any of you out there understand that there's a character out there that is kind of Superman-ish, but super boyish, whatever. Invincible. He's an Image character. This is why it's exciting. He was created by Robert Kirkman, the guy who created Walking Dead, that zombie show that everybody's going crazy for. That's first. The art style, the costume, everything about the universe is amazing. What you do, you take it and you make it kind of like Twilight, but not all glossy and glistening. You make it accessible to everyone. It'd be amazing because there is blood and gore and death. It would be like Smallville, but like not all corny and like all like, ooh, like all like Teen Wolf. No, it'd be like straight up Superman. I just want to see people get their faces pounded in and their eyeballs squeezed out of their sockets, but at the same time, it still has a lightheartedness that we can all relate to and love, because Invincible, as much as he would like to think he's invincible, is not invincible.
Honestly, in my book, if it was a superhero movie that happened before 1999, it really doesn't count. Want a movie kind of just got like thrown under the rug? Spawn. Spawn was a great superhero movie. Problem is, it just came out mid-90s, so it was, well, lame, and didn't have the true potential that the most badass, I don't give a superhero has ever lived. Or, well, not lived. He's a comic book character. He lives in me. He lives in my head. He doesn't, that sounds weird.
But Nightcrawler, the ability to teleport, plus he's really into like using fencing swords and stuff, so the ability to teleport with a sword, that's just super OP. Who can stop that? I mean, if you think about it, even the Flash couldn't stop that, because the Flash is super fast, but Nightcrawler can just teleport. He's instantaneous movement as opposed to like just being super quick. I know he's super, all right, we're not gonna get into that argument.
He's the snarkiest character. He gets to break the fourth wall. He's just the best, one of my favorite characters. And if they did it right, and I believe the casting was already right, Ryan Reynolds is good for it. He's that snarky, smart mouth attitude character. So they got the casting right already. They have the guy they need. They have a good script from the writers of Zombieland. All they really need is to pull the trigger. And I don't know why they're not doing it. I think maybe because, you know, Ryan Reynolds was playing the Green Lantern, which, by the way, that was not the right casting. Or something was going on where they didn't want to make fun of the previous movie, or it wouldn't be canon. But you know what? Deadpool's so wacky and out there that his stuff just kind of supersedes the whole universe and whatever Deadpool's doing, because you never know, he's kind of crazy. It could just be a hallucination, could be all in his brain.
On a big screen, it could be like Kick-Ass, but with like Superman. Kick-Ass could be Batman, and then Invincible could be Superman with all his super duper powers, and it'd be just as bloody. There's love and fornication.
So Spawn, the great thing about him is he dies, then he comes back to life, and he's supposed to be like an assassin for like the devil. Malmojal is his name. It's weird, it's crazy, but it's cool. So he's like a bad guy, but then he's like struggling with himself and who he was and who he wants to be. So then like Heaven tries to use him as a tool, but then so does Malbolgial, and so then he finds his own anti-hero. He's just messing with everybody. So we need a full-on strong reboot of Spawn. You had the clown that was played by, oh shoot, the same, Luigi Zamo, the guy who played Luigi. He was an excellent clown, and then he turns into like the Vindicator or the Industrialnator, or they all had weird names in Spawn.
I'm not the Vindicator or the Victimizer or the Vaporizer or the Mind Vader. I'm a Violator!
All right, I got to admit, this is when I got to talk about, I'm not like super into comics, so I don't know a lot about Nightcrawler, but I looked him up a little bit. So first of all, he is the son of Azazel and Mystique. So he gets the teleporting powers from Azazel, and Mystique gives him his blue skin. But looking at his origins, he used to be in the circus. So like him growing up in the circus would be like an interesting like backstory to explore. And I just think there's a much deeper character than we know about, and it would be cool if he got his own movie. Plus, then you get to see Mystique get it on with a red demon, which I guess is cool. And literally, it's a demon. It's hot.
And I really like, first of all, the Deadpool Cable team up is great, but then also Deadpool during the Secret Invasion, where he tricks the Skrulls into being like, you need me on your team, you need the Deadpool, and they try to clone him. It's just a great run. If they could bring that character to life, I'm not saying the same plot line, but the same kind of attitude and kind of the writing that was in that, they could bring that to life, bring that to the big screen, I think it would be awesome. So yeah, Deadpool's my choice for a character that needs to hit the big screen in his own movie, not some spin-off X-Men nonsense.
Like all of that you want from a superhero movie, that you want from a Superman movie, because he's just as powerful, but you don't get it. Invincible would be the perfect thing. His dad is a freaking space freaking conqueror that lived on Earth for tons of years, then he goes crazy, and then Mark Grayson, that's Invincible, his powers finally kick in. It's a team dream. All of a sudden, his dad goes crazy. He kills off a bunch of people on the planet. Then he has to leave the planet because he has to fight his son Mark Grayson, which he beats into within an inch of his life. Story, come on. You can't beat that. The colorful characters, Invincible, the dialogue, Robert Kirkman, sold. Invincible, coming to a theater near you. I wish.
The graphics back then in the 90s, not that good, and the cape still looked awesome, but the cape is what makes Spawn. Now, with today's animation and computer graphics, we can have like this epic, just like him standing on a rooftop and like the Spawn cape flowing behind him. That'd be awesome. And then he's gotta go down to hell and like kill all the bad guys. Cop out. Give me an actual fight where Spawn just takes on an entire legion of undead like warriors. That's what I want to see. And then he like comes up and just like Hadoukens Malboja. Now I know he doesn't Hadouken because he's Spawn, but still, him and that giant axe, I'd watch it. It needs to come back. Give Spawn a second chance. He's like the one reboot that needs to happen. Now that we've talked about superheroes that need to go to the silver screen, let's talk about us and the superheroes we want to be. Also, in Mario Kart this week, we realized that we just cannot chill at the Nether. Like, it's not a good place to be. We got to get out of there. Check this week's episode of Mario Kart to see those shenanigans take place. Away!